There was a young man named Adam who lived in a small village near the river. Adam was kind,
Oh, thank you so
the
much.
kind that gives without being asked, that shows up before it's needed, that says yes before the question is even finished. But Adam had one habit that would define the next 10 years of his life. He chased people who never turned around. There was a friend, Kareem, who called only when he needed something. A favor, a loan, a place to stay for a night that turned into a week. Adam always answered, always helped, and when Kareem got what he needed, he vanished again, like smoke through a window left open. There was a woman Adam loved, Layla, who kept him close enough to feel wanted, and far enough to never be sure. She would smile at him in front of others, then go silent for days when it was just the two of them. Adam told himself, if I just try harder, she'll finally see me. And there was his own family, a father who praised his brothers' every small win, and barely noticed Adam's biggest ones. Adam worked twice as hard, hoping one day his father would finally say the words he was starving for. Adam spent years like this, running, reaching, bending himself into whatever shape he thought would finally earn their attention. One evening, exhausted, Adam sat by the river and met an old fisherman named Idris, who had lived by that water for as long as anyone could remember. "You look like a man who's been running," Idris said, not looking up from his net. "I have, for years, and I still haven't caught anything." Idris smiled and pointed to the water. "Do you see your shadow there on the surface? Try to catch it," Idris said. Adam laughed, thinking it was a joke, but he reached into the water anyway. The moment his hand touched the surface, the reflection scattered into 100 broken pieces of light. "You can't hold a reflection, Adam," Idris said. "No matter how fast you move, no matter how badly you want it. A reflection doesn't stay because you chase it. It stays because the water is calm enough to hold it." Adam sat back, his chest tight with something he didn't yet have words for. "The people you've been chasing," Idris continued, "they are not cruel by choice, necessarily. Some people simply are the moving water. They cannot hold anything steady, not your love, not your loyalty, not your worth. And the harder you reach for them, the more you scatter yourself trying to grab hold of something that was never going to stay still." "Then what am I supposed to do?" Adam asked. "Just let them go?" Idris pulled his net from the water, heavy with fish that had swum into it. Not fish he had chased down one by one, but fish that had come because the net was simply there, patient, in the right place. "I didn't catch these by running through the river," Idris said. "I set the net, and I waited. The ones who were meant to come came." Chasing people who don't value you doesn't just cost you time, Adam. It costs you the version of yourself that could have been reflected somewhere calm, somewhere that actually held you back. Adam thought of Kareem, who called only when he wanted something. He thought of Layla, who kept him close enough to hope and far enough to hurt. He thought of his father's praise, always aimed at someone else. He realized that he had spent years mistaking effort for worth. Believed that if he just tried hard enough, ran fast enough, gave enough of himself away, someone would finally stop and see him. But worth was never something you could chase out of someone who wasn't looking for it in you. The next morning, Adam did something he hadn't done in years. When Kareem called asking for another favor, Adam let the phone ring, not out of anger, but out of something quieter, a decision. When Layla sent one of her half-smiles his way, he didn't rearrange his whole week around the hope that this time would be different. And when his father praised his brother again at dinner, Adam didn't shrink himself smaller, hoping to be noticed. He simply passed the bread, ate his meal, and let the moment be what it was. It didn't fix everything overnight. Some nights, the old habit crept back, the urge to reach, to prove, to run just a little faster toward people who never once turned to see if he was still behind them. But slowly, something else began to grow in the space he stopped giving away. He noticed a neighbor who always greeted him first without being asked. He noticed a cousin who remembered small details about his life, not the big things, but the quiet ones, the ones that mean someone was actually listening. He noticed that when he stopped pouring himself into empty rivers, he had more left over for the people, and the version of himself that had been waiting patiently all along. Years later, Adam would tell this story to his own son on a night, much like the one he'd spent with Idris by the river. Some people are shadows. Some people are water, he would say. You cannot hold on to either by chasing harder. But some people are sure, still, steady, there, whether you run toward them or not. Spend your life looking for the shore, not the current. His son, young and unconvinced, asked,
"But how do you know the difference, Baba? How do you know who's water and who's shore?"
Adam smiled the way Idris once had. The water moves every time you reach for it. The shore doesn't move at all. It was never going anywhere. You just have to stop running long enough to notice it was there.